Hello and happy Wednesday. Welcome to day 2 of the Visibility for Introverts training to help you get seen and heard so you convert your audience into paying clients. Because let's admit it, if you aren't out there being seen and being heard, people can't find you and they can't hire you. So why not create a strategy that gets you visible that aligns with who you are, not cookie cutter like everybody else, even if you're a shy girl like me. I'm Laurie-Ann, your host today and founder of SpeakAndStandOut.com. I'm a reformed, painfully shy girl turned professional speaker. And now I help entrepreneurs like yourself use speaking as your best form of marketing. So if you're joining me live, I'd love to know where you are coming in from. And let's have some fun today with day 2. And just to kind of like recap on what day 1 was about, I gave you a couple of days to really journal on the questions that I gave you, or if journaling's not a big thing for you, to just be able to just like give yourself something to think about. And some of those questions were, what does visibility mean? What does that mean for you? If you were visible, what would that look like? What would it feel like? And the third question is, why is visibility, like what's in the way? What's the gap? Why aren't you getting visible? I've got my own thoughts on this and I'm going to share a lot of them with you today. But let me just say hello, Stacy. How are you today? Thanks for joining. And so we're going to, that was all part 1, because if you've been on any of my trainings, I always start with you. Let's start with where you are. And today I want to get you to move forward. Let's take some action. And that is all going to be we're talking about decisions. We're talking about making a decision today about what visibility means for you. And here's the good news. Because if you're already starting to I don't know if I want to make that decision today, that you get to change that. Just because we make a decision today does not mean it's engraved in stone and forever you're going to have to do this. No. So that's the good news. So I want you all to just okay, especially all my shy introverts out there. So hello, Sophia, from coming all the way in from California, my early bird. Let's see. Stacy says, doing great. She's working away. Yes, you are. I saw everything that you've been posting inside the group about you were just leaning into this wonderful, mentor and social media expert. And I love how you are getting so visible, which I know once upon a time was not super easy for you. So let's talk about this decision. What did you discover when you thought about those 3 questions? And if this is the first time that you're thinking about them, absolutely, share with me. If you were visible, what would that do for you? What would that do for your business? That's the key part, because I actually want you to almost close your eyes and visualize what would that be? Because we always need to know where we're moving towards. And if you know me, I always say, start with the end in mind. The Stephen Covey thing. I've written all of my books that way. When I think about my social media posts, when I think about my lives, my trainings, my speeches, I always start with the end in mind. What do I want my people, my audience, those that are viewing this, those that are going to read my social media, what do I want them to get out of it? So that's why I'm always let's always think about what that looks like. But deciding, I really want to get you to make a decision about what visibility is going to look like for you. And again, it's not in stone. You're going to be able to edit. Because if you realize, hey, going live at that time doesn't work for me. It ends up being stressful. There's always something in the way. The kids. One of the things that I shared on day 1 is that Like my Facebook Live show is Mondays at 5. Is that convenient for all of my viewers? No, but that's the beauty of a Facebook Live. You get to watch the replay. And so I am I'm still thinking about not so much how many people are on the Facebook Live with me right now, but I look back at the numbers and the stats about who watched it later. Because if you're on my email list, you know that you get an email about the replay. So let me just quickly read what Stacy here wrote. She wrote, I have people say you're all over the place on social. Are you on all day? And I'm not. It's all about planning ahead and hopping in and snagging when I have blocked the time. Oh, blocking the time is so beautiful. This keeps me in front of my ideal people and reminds them that you are there when they're going to need you. Absolutely. I love that, Stacy. So Stacy does a lot of planning about her visibility, and probably using some sort of a scheduler as well. I know that I do. And also, and I get the same thing, Stacy. I get people who say I'm seeing you everywhere. And that's a great thing. I don't feel like I'm actually everywhere, but they're seeing my stuff everywhere, which probably means they're looking at my social media posts, watching my videos, and they're consuming my content, which is what I want. So in deciding what does being visible mean for you, what's that going to mean for you? Because what I really want you to do is to make that commitment. And there is no wrong answer. If you say, hey, I just want to get out there. I'm going to dip my toe in the water, Laurie-Ann. I'm a shy introvert, hence the name of the program, visibility for introverts. You can dip your toe in the water. So if you say, I'm going to put out 3 pieces of content, might be a social media, it could be a quick live, it might be a blog, it could be something on you get to decide what that is. And maybe you're just I'm just going to do 3. And then I'm going to build from there. But I'm committing to myself, whatever the commitment is. Again, there's no wrong answers, but you are deciding on what it's going to look like. You're dipping the toe in the water? Fabulous. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't feel oh my God, I'm going from 0 posts and visibility a week to, I don't want you to feel like I have to be posting 3 times a day, 5 days a week or 7 days a week. So that means, you start doing the math and you start coming up with and then that overwhelms you. And then what do? We don't do anything. And the reason why I want to get you to decide is so that you don't have that deer in the headlight look oh my God, I don't know what to do. And so what we do is we freeze and then we walk away and we go do something else. You ever do that? It's, it's a form of silent procrastination is what it is that I'm going to go do something else. I tell myself, oh, I'll come back to this later. But what I want you to do is decide on it. Exactly what Stacy said. Stacy plans out when she's engaging on social media. I mean, she's a social media trainer. She's an expert on this. But she also plans out her content accordingly. Maybe it's according to what she's going to be, a program that she's promoting. So you want content that kind of goes along with that. She's got it in a scheduler so that maybe she's not the one who's actually posting, this is how I work. I have something that helps me get that post out there, but that's all part of my planning. I plan out the Facebook Lives. What are they? Planning is so beautiful. Planning is a form of decision making. So that if you've ever sat down to write a social media post and you're just oh God, what do I write today? You can't even come up with a topic. It's you get the writer's block or a keyboard block, if you will. And by not, one of the ways to hop over that and not get that that keyboard block, that writer's block, is you've already made a decision as to what you're going to be talking about that week. That's all. And here's a beautiful thing that I heard Grant Cardone has a belief about his social media posts. He believes that nobody has seen his post. So if he puts out a post on Instagram, he has this belief that nobody saw it. So I'm going to go put more out there. And trust me, he doesn't worry about the people who think differently than him. He's serving his audience. And so that's another thing that I want you to do when you decide on how you're going to do this. Because I hear a lot of people say, I'm worried about what other people will think. I'm worried about what people will say. I'm worried about the people who don't like who I might offend. So I'm going to keep quiet. I want you to decide that you don't give a shit about any of that stuff. That you are here to serve your audience. Again, let's make some decisions today. So let me just take a little break. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee here, which, by the way, I'm on my second cup of coffee. So this could, if I'm starting to talk too fast, just put a little comment and say, hey, LA, put down the coffee. Let's see. Stacy says, Sophia says, I want to be visible. To start, I want to dip your toes. I know, because you're an introvert like me, Sophia. And Stacy says, consistency is key. Sophia again says, I have so much content, I don't know where to start. Love that. And so again, that comes down to this overwhelm, because I have so much that I can share. And Sophia, I know, like you and I have had these conversations before, because you're with doTERRA, you could literally do a video a week on one of the doTERRA oils. And right there's content for, what did we come up like? It's like there's content for 2 years. 2 years worth of content, if just doing one video a week. That's amazing. So now you've got this, you could have this plan. Like you literally could talk about like during 1 month, I'm going to pick, or even like quarterly, because I don't know how many different oils there are. Like you could talk about citrus. Like there's orange, there's lemon, there's lime. I mean, right there's 3. Is there a citrus blend? I mean, like there's 4. There's a month worth of content. You could talk about the different herbs for another month. So it's just about making the decision and not getting exhausted with decision making. What does that mean? That means that as the CEO of your business, you make decisions once. They're done. So when I decided, like for February, for this month, that I was going to be talking about visibility for this entire month, all leading up to this special training, I made the decision, done. Have you ever gone to a restaurant? Here's my analogy. And let's just say you go out for breakfast and the waitress comes over and she takes your order. And, she's got her little notepad and she's like, what would you like? And you say, I would like 2 eggs over easy and with toast. Great. What kind of eggs? How do you want your eggs? You say scrambled. What kind of toast? You say wheat. And she goes, okay. She goes away. Then you see her walking by. I changed my mind. Instead of scrambled eggs, I'd like them over easy. Yeah, and maybe an English muffin. And she's like, okay. And she'll go away and like put that order back in, and hopefully the chef hasn't started to make your meal. But then she come back and she's helping the table. I changed my mind again. What? The same thing happens, especially if you've got a team of people and you're just like, here are the Facebook Lives that I'm going to be doing, or here are the social media posts that I'm going to be doing this week. And then, just as they're about to start, wait, I changed my mind. That's called decision. Like you're constantly making the same decisions over and over and over again. And I want you to stop it. Just make a decision. Just go with it. So let me take a little break here. Stacy says, Sophia, that is a great problem to have. Yeah, about having like all of those videos, those video ideas, which then becomes just an amazing library, Sophia, on your Facebook or your YouTube, which you can then refer your team to or your customers to, especially when they're like, oh, I bought this, this oil, and I'll just use the example of lemon because I know that that's what's sitting on my counter. What can I do with the lemon oil besides, put it in my water? And your whole video could be explaining that. I have another client and she's with Mary Kay, and I keep telling her you just need to be making videos constantly about the different products because it's a great reminder for your customers. It's a great reminder for your team on all the huge benefits of using that product. Yes, there are many different citrus oils. Fabulous. Okay, that's what you can start doing. Dip your toe in the water. So I love that you're making that decision to dip your toe in the water, and you've got this. So just make the decisions. Do you see what I mean? Like using that restaurant analogy, like eventually the waitress is just going to come over with her. Yeah. Are you going to change your order again? Guess what? She's going to get a little annoyed. Guess what? Your team gets a little annoyed because they'll be like, really? You changed your mind last week. So we're changing you. They just start to get used to okay, great. You don't know how to make up your mind. So they just kind of sit there and they wait and they wait. And what does that do? That's just a roadblock. You're the bottleneck in your business. So make some decisions about what is visibility going to look like? How often are you going to go visible? To get visible. And what does being visible mean? I mean, is it a Facebook Live? Which is a great form of video, by the way. Are you going to start doing blogs? Is it some sort of social media content? And if you're doing some social media posting, I'm going to highly recommend that you do it in some sort of a Google Drive, some sort of a place where you can keep all this information. Because if you're going to put any information out there, you're going to share any tips, share any stories about your successes, about successes with customers, with your clients. You might as well be able to repurpose it later. Okay? So all of this is like going to the gym. You make a decision, I want to get healthy. I've been sitting on the couch a little too long. Maybe I've added a few pounds. My eating habits aren't fabulous. But you just decide, I'm going to get healthy. And part of that decision to get healthy is you decide, I'm going to start using that gym membership that I have that charges my credit card month after month. And finally, I'm going to start going. So what do you do to make sure that you go? Well, maybe you want to hire a personal trainer. That's some sort of accountability. That's like hiring a coach. But let's say you just say, I'm going to find some other people maybe I'm going to work out with some other people. I'm going to find some friends, but maybe you don't want to rely on your friends always to be your motivation. Maybe that you look at the class schedule and wow, I really want to take this particular, I'll just use, a spin class. I happen to go to Orange Theory, and you schedule them into your calendar. And yeah, the first time you go, it's hard. But that's because your muscles aren't used to it. And visibility is exactly the same thing. It is about getting visible, is about making the decision, here's what I'm going to do, here's how I'm going to do it, and it becomes like a muscle. You get stronger the more that you do it. If you're one of my personal clients and you've heard me say, you got to make the ask. And sometimes I will tell people, the first time you make an ask like that, I'm just asking you to do one a day. And sometimes those are hard. Who do I ask? How do I ask? What do I ask? And then, if you're one of my private clients, the following week I say, okay, now you have to do 2 a day. And then 3 a day. And then we finally figure out what's that number that you have to be asking. But they all say the same thing. It gets easier because you're building that muscle. It becomes stronger. Going to the gym, doing just 5-pound bicep curls suddenly becomes this is so easy. I'm jumping it up to 7 pounds or 10 pounds, something that's a little more challenging. and you add to it. And this is exactly what's going to happen with getting visible. But you've got to decide on, this is how I'm going to do it. This is what it's going to look like for me, and put it in your schedule. Whether it's, I'm going to plan out my social media posts for the week or for the month, and you schedule them in. Because if you've got like a Facebook group or you got a business page, you can actually go in and schedule those things. When are you going to write them? Put these things in your schedule, and I want you to honor yourself, respect your calendar and your schedule. And you already made the decision. Here's how I'm going visible. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's how often I'm going to dip my toe in the water. And I'm going to commit to it. And I want to say, please commit to it for a month. But here's the good news. Because remember, I said earlier, like nothing's in concrete. It doesn't mean you have to do it this way forever. You might, after a couple of weeks, say, yeah, I told Laurie-Ann I was going to dip my toe in the water. I committed to myself to dip my toe in the water. And this twice a week, whatever it is, remember, there's no wrong answer. Doing this a couple of times a week, I can do this more. Because now my visibility muscle is stronger. And maybe it's that I'm going to start looking for speaking events too. And maybe it might be like, hey, I'm going to dip my toe in the water for this one. I'm going to reach out to 1 or 2 people a week. Whatever is working for you. So I'm super curious, let me know, what has been the biggest, aha moment that you've learned so far? You guys do that. Again, I'll take a sip of coffee. Try not to have too much today. But I'm really enjoying this particular topic and sharing this with you, because I want you to get out there. Because if you aren't seen, if you aren't heard, if people don't know about you, they can't hire you. And they can't refer people to you. Because how many of you have referred people to others? Maybe it's on Facebook. Somebody asks a question and you tag somebody in the answer. Like, hey, this person, you need to talk to this person. Adding those referrals. Sophia says, let's see, her biggest aha is to make a decision and start. And then once you make the decision, you're committing to that decision. You're a CEO. You're a CEO. You made the decision and that's it. Let's move on to making other decisions in other areas of our business, not revisiting this one because we're done. So whatever the results are that you want in your business, it comes down to this very simple formula. It's about deciding on what it is. What results do you want? Coming up with a strategy. So you want to get visible. We're going to come up with a strategy, and that might be, I'm going to dip my toe in the water, or I'm going all out. I'm giving myself, I just quit my day job. I am going all out and I'm going to jump into this and I'm going to get very visible. And you decide on what that visibility is. And then the magic spice, if you will, the magic ingredient is being disciplined to carry out that strategy. And I wish I had this picture of my dog Phoebe. And I'll tell you that story in a moment. I just want to read what Stacy says. I've gotten so many referrals from being tagged in Facebook groups since I've been visible, and people know that I'm the social media gal. Yes, you are. Because I know that I'm one of those people that whenever someone's looking for somebody for social media, it's, you got to talk to Stacy. You got to talk to Stacy. Yeah. So fantastic. Jessica is all the way from Chicago area. Thank you for joining us today. So let me just tell you the story about Phoebe, my dog. I wanted a polite dog. I wanted an obedient dog too, and I got her as a puppy. And I was known for I would put her food and she would sit before dinner or breakfast. Because I fed her twice a day. So she would sit and she was waiting for the command word. So the result for Phoebe was she wanted to eat. Her strategy was she had to sit and wait. And she had to be disciplined to carry out her strategy so that she could eat. And there were times where I was just like, hey, I am the alpha dog in this household. And I would test her. And there were times where I will admit, I also forgot. So I would literally be like walking down the hall. I'd be in the bedroom doing stuff. Phoebe got like, and I will have to find this picture to share with you guys. She would literally at times, like after she felt like she had waited long enough, because she wouldn't eat it, she would come down and she gave me this look like, are you going to say the word? And I would tell her the command word, which was okay. And she would race back to the kitchen where her food was, and then she would eat breakfast or dinner. But to me, like that formula, to me, that formula, results equals discipline plus strategy, you can use for anything in your business. So I just want to like stop here for a moment because this is day 2. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'll give you a couple of seconds because I know that there's, what questions do you have? And hello, Sarah from across the pond. Thank you for joining us today. What questions do you have about making this decision? This would almost be like some laser coaching, if you will. Let me know what other ahas you've had. Just like let's get you visible because I want your audiences to find you. And when I use the word audiences, I'm talking in person and also virtual. I'm talking the people who can actually see you and interact with you like right away versus the people there are people that are just kind of like in the background and they're watching you from the sidelines. You know, a lot of you who have programs or, like offer services, sometimes you get somebody who like becomes a client, becomes a customer, buys one of your programs, and they've been on your email list or in your Facebook group or one of your followers for a couple of years. And then they finally yeah, I want that. I want to work with you. I've been watching you. I've been following you. All good stuff. So if you guys don't have any questions, I will just kind of like end today. Today's been day 2. Day 3 is going to be tomorrow. Same time, same place, 11 a.m. This day 2 and day 3 is only available for here in my Facebook group. So if there's somebody that you know who would hugely benefit from this, please feel free to share the group with them and get them to come in here because I really do want to help as many people as I can to help them get visible, to help them get over that fear of visibility or like, I haven't done any videos. There's so many different excuses that we can all come up with. One of my clients actually said to me, that she only had like 5 videos in her YouTube channel, on her YouTube page. And she's like, I don't want people to see that I only have 5 videos. What do you think they're going to think? Like, who cares? You have like everybody who has a successful or who has a YouTube channel, who has a Facebook page, who starts doing lives. Like we all started with video number 1. We all started with social media post number 1. So it really is an even playing field. You just have to get started. And remember, today was all about making the decision to get started. Let's see, Sarah says, I asked my Facebook audience today what they thought I would be, doing a TED Talk on. Interesting results. At least 80% said burnout. Ooh, fantastic. That means your audience really does know you. And let's see. Sophia says that I was wondering more on the technical side. Do I just start in my group, the group I just started, or a personal page? That's a really good question, Sophia. And let me just share with you what I'm using. I use Ecamm, which is a Mac app on my laptop, so that I actually it can go to my business page. Typically, like the Monday 5 p.m. Facebook Lives I have them broadcast on my business page, and then I just use my phone here right next to me, and I just share it into different places, into groups, and I actually go later. I go to my business page and I share it to my personal page. So again, this is about just coming up with a decision. And I just want you to just start. So here's the thing with doing this in your group, like I'm doing here right now. Only the people that are in your group are going to see your video. So it all depends on what your goal is. Do you want more people in your Facebook group? So therefore, that's why you're putting the information only in there. Or do you want to do it on your business page or an outside page and then just share it to different places? But keep in mind that Facebook does not like you doing business on your personal page. So I hope that helps. Jen says, great class. Thanks, LA. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Jen, for joining us. Start with one and then do one more. Absolutely. Just like Sarah just said, you just got to get out there and just get started. Let's see. And Jen here says, okay, cool. How did you get the comments on the screen? Oh, this is Ecamm. So I use this with my Mac, and go take a peek because I'm sure that, like Ecamm is, they've got some stuff that they probably are. I haven't been on the page in a long time, so I don't know if they've got any PC version yet. But this is just like something that I'm playing with because I'm seeing all the comments that come up on the side and I'm able to, share. Such good advice. Thank you as always, LA. Oh, you're welcome, Sophia. So again, if you guys have any more questions, if you're watching the replay, feel free to type down below. Stacy said she's never been able to get Ecamm to work for you. Well, maybe you and I just need to have a little chat, do a little Zoom call or something. So I also want to share with you guys that if you are like, I don't know, I'm having a hard time with the decision about how I should be getting visible for my particular business, feel free to jump on a call with me. Let me just put that up. Here it is. Here's a link to book a call with me. Book a call with me and we can develop, let's figure out what platforms you should be on, what form of visibility would be good for you. Let's come up with that strategy. Because if you're just trying to, I'm just getting started, Laurie-Ann, let's dip your toe in the water and we can add on from there. But feel free to, I'm doing lots of just free calls. I just want to help you get visible. Let me share what I know with you so that it's for your business. And if that's going to help you make that decision, fantastic. Do that. And let's see. Stacy says that would be great. I bought BeLive through you too on AppSumo and you haven't used that. I just really love Ecamm. And it's worked really, really well for me. And I know that there's so much more to Ecamm that I haven't done. I know that Ecamm has you can call people in via Skype, and that's how I can actually have two people, because I know that Facebook Live has actually done away with the bringing a guest on now. Or at least, I haven't really tried it lately, but I'm hearing a lot of people say that they've had a lot of problems with it. Facebook isn't letting them, but Ecamm does allow you via Skype. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to just type them below and tag me, and I will be more than happy to swing on by and answer them. And let's see, Stacy says one more, and it's super fun to see the shout out. Okay. Great. You just got to dig in. Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see what Sarah says. It's always when it's the last comment. Let's see. StreamYard work. Oh, StreamYard. I've heard of that too. Works well for guest interviews. Facebook doesn't let you do it anymore. I know. Kind of a bummer. It was really a nice feature. So, okay, you guys, everybody have a fabulous day. Go and let's make that decision. And I will talk to you soon, tomorrow.